Hey, Shalom, Shalom, son of Zion signing in. Before I get started, I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yavushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, of GMS that do rule on, that do teach on, that have taught me this truth. To you I say Shalom, and Shalom unto the hopeful elect. Kwame Ashala and Abad Babal. Lord willing, this will be edifying or thought-provoking in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yavushai. And I have a little short to share here from YouTube. It's called Why Civilians Carry Weapons in the Streets. And this pertains to Israel, right, where you small hatters dwell. That's which are you Edomites, because the true Israelites are not ruling Israel today. It's you Edomites, you small hatters, starting with the banking families. But they said that the prophecy of Isaiah, the second chapter, has been fulfilled. When they got the land back in 1948, which was due to the Balfour Declaration, which was written up back in World War I believe, during 1917. And that was made by the Rothschild family, and they convinced the British government to give them a homeland, right? That goes back to that. That isn't biblical, because really your Savior is supposed to give you the homeland. Yahweh Shai is supposed to do all of that. He's supposed to give you the kingdom. He's supposed to give you your home back. So that doesn't make any sense, man. You don't fit prophecy. And this shows that you don't fit the prophecy of Isaiah, the second chapter. Right, why are you guys carrying guns? Civilians carrying guns. When the true Jews get their homeland back, and really when they get the kingdom, the whole world, there's going to be no more wars. So why do you need guns? You see, the reason why you guys carry guns, because it goes back to your blessing found in Genesis, the 27th chapter, the blessing of Esau, Edom. By the sword thou shalt live. And that's exactly how you small hatters live, man. You're a bunch of murderers, man. Murderers. So this ain't the true Israelites, man. So anyways, let me play this short, and then I'm going to get some precepts. Anyway, and also I have a reading that I'm going to bring out in the book called Who is Esau Edom by Charles A. Wiseman, going into the Balfour Declaration. So here we go.
In Israel, it's common to see people in civilian clothes carrying large firearms like assault rifles on the streets. For those unfamiliar, it might seem surprising, but there's a reason behind it. Many of the young people you see carrying weapons are off-duty soldiers. In Israel, military service is mandatory, and soldiers are encouraged to take their weapons home even when off-duty. This helps them stay prepared for emergencies and adds a layer of security to the public. Despite the visible presence of firearms, the rate of accidents is extremely low. So, when you see people carrying firearms on the street, there's no need to worry. Israel's population is well-trained, respectful, and highly educated, and, by far, one of the safest countries in the world.
I don't know about that. It ain't gonna be safe for much too longer, man. Pursuant to Ezekiel the 38th chapter and many other scriptures, Israel is gonna be wiped off the face of the earth, and that pertains to biblical prophecy. That's not what I'm saying. That's what the Bible says. That place is gonna be nuked, man, in these last days. But that's disgusting. It is what it is. That's Esau Edom. That's the reputation of Esau Edom. They're a very shameful, or shameless nation. They don't give a damn, man. They're imposters, man. That's disgusting. How dare you? But the scripture says the captive exile hastens to be loose, and that's us. That's you real Israelites. That pertain to the 12 tribes, man. Going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which are you so-called Latinos, Native Americans, and you so-called Negroes, man. Okay? That's you. And the confusion of face that is scattered abroad, man. Hey, man, we hasten to be loose, man. And we're going to get our home back. But we can't get it now because this place is defiled You have heathens running about over there, and it's polluted, man. That place needs to be destroyed first before we take it back. Anyways, man, let's get Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. It says, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. So this is concerning the whole nation. Judah being the southern kingdom, Jerusalem being the northern kingdom. And it shall come to pass in the last days. That's right. Aren't we in the last days right now? Look at all the signs. Go read Matthew the 24th chapter. Go read Luke the 21st chapter. Come on, man. We are in the last days. Let's go. That the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow onto it. That ain't happening now, man. That ain't happening now. A lot of these nations, they hate Israel. Especially them Arab countries, man. They don't like Israel. In fact, Israel's in a war right now. What the hell? So this hasn't been fulfilled yet, but they claimed it has been fulfilled. It's a joke. Verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. Yeah, that's teach us the law, statutes, and commandments. And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law. Yeah, they're going to come to you and say, please teach us the law, statutes, and commandments. We want to be like you, and we want to serve your God. Nobody really wants to do it. You have the East Indian over there in India serving all his gods. They're not coming to you. They don't give a shit. Them Punjabis, they're living fat out there in the different parts of the world, man. Worshipping their gods, man. You know, wearing their turbans and stuff like that. And living it up. They ain't coming to you. The Ishmaelite, the so-called Arab man, he ain't coming to you. He's worshiping Allah. So what the fuck? This doesn't pertain to you people right now, man. Come on, man. And it says, verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So how come this isn't how come this isn't happening right now? Right? All these nations, they're fighting in these wars. Got Russia versus Ukraine. You got Israel going at it with Hamas. And then on top of that, your civilians walk around with firearms, man. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Verse 5, O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of Yahweh. Yeah, you know what the light is? The light is the law, statutes, and commandments. And you people don't even believe, really, in the Torah or the Bible, man. You know what you believe in? You believe in the Talmud. Okay, your rabbis, you know what they do? They give circumcisions to little babies, and you know what they do? They put their mouth on their rods, and then they get herpes, man. Hey, that's a well-known fact. Hey, that's been coming out in the news, man. But yes, man, you guys worship the Talmud. You guys worship Satan. That goes back to Saturn worship. Okay, you guys are all about the Talmud. So you guys don't care about the Lord. You know, the walk in the light of the Lord, which is the lamp are the commandments, and the law is the light. Yeah, man, going back to Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. And that's all in the book, in the good book, the scriptures, man. That includes the Old Testament and the New Testament, man. That's the light, man. Because that's the word. The word of the Lord is the light. All right, so, hey, they're not doing that, man. So these guys are false, man. False. Let me get this. This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. Yeah, this is another reason why civilians in Israel walk around with the sword, because it's their blessing. Okay, because they really go back to the nation of Edom. Actually, let me start at verse 38, because this is when Jacob took Esau's blessing. He got the blessing of the firstborn, and now Esau is seeking to get a blessing, because he knew he lost his blessing. He lost his birthright and his blessing, and Jacob supplanted him and got over him, man. So this is Genesis chapter 27, verse 38, and it says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. See that? So yes, you're going to live by the sword. And you know, there was a time that we were over you. I believe that was during the time of King David. We had you in captivity, man. We put a yoke of iron around your neck. You were our servants during that time, and then you broke it off and you got loose. But the point is, man, and by thy sword shalt thou live. Yeah, and that's how you do live, man. All right, you're the Lord of war. You're the Lord of war, and you make money off of war, man. Hey, these international banking families, which really go back to you small hats, but really Esau in general. You know, I'm pointing out you small hats, which you go back to Amalek, which he is the chief tribe that comes out of the nation of Edom. He's a duke of Esau. That's found in Genesis the 36th chapter. Right, but all you Edomites, starting with you small hats, you Amalekites, you profit off of war, man. In fact, you fund both sides. You know, a good movie to watch is Lord of War with Nicolas Cage. And in the movie, Nicolas Cage, what was his nationality, man? He was a so-called Jew. He was a small hatter. So that movie is actually exposing how you small hats get down, man. How you funded all these different wars on the planet, especially in Africa. You made a fortune supplying these warlords and people all over the world, right? So that's one good example. And also there's you can go into CIA documents and stuff like that. You can read books and you can do your own research and figure things out. But mainly books, not so much CIA documents. Sorry about that, but mainly books. You can find books that bring out that information about Amalek, man. How he's a gun runner as well, and he makes a lot of money off of war. Starting with these bankers, man. So and by thy sword shalt thou live. Yeah, that's how you live. We get this one. This is Revelation chapter 3 verse 9. It says, Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah, especially during the time of the MOTB. Going to be a serious time of temptation. But anyways, man, verse 9, there's a point going into the synagogue of Satan. And they are the ones today that worship in synagogues. They dress up in all black with the Abraham Lincoln hat and the Shirley Temple curls, man. And they're calling themselves Jews. But they're really not. They don't go back to the true truths. And by the way, this precept is twofold. It pertains to the Israelites back then who were pretending to serve the Most High, right? Which were you tribes back then, you wicked Israelites. But it also pertains to now these false Jews in the land of Israel. You know, they are the synagogue of Satan, literally, because they worship the Talmud, man. They worship Satan, Saturn. They're not really about serving Yahweh Bashim El Shai and following the law, statutes, and commandments. That's all just a front. But they are the synagogue of Satan, man. And look what's going on over there, man. This is all satanic activity. You gotta walk around with guns. They have gay parades over there. That's against the law. Over there in Tel Aviv, they have a gay parade. What the hell is that, man? And all this wickedness is going on over there. They have to import trees and grass over to Israel. That place is supposed to be fruitful if the true people are there. You know, so that makes no sense. Anyway, let's go into the reading. This is who is Esau Edom. We're going to read page 39, but here it is. Who is Esau Edom by Charles A. Wiseman. And this exposes you Edomites, who you are. And you know, a lot of you Edomites, man, you're mingled among these other nations, ruling among them too. Like the Saudis, you know, and I think this is Osama. You know, they put him on here. Can't remember if this is Osama. I forget. But we know that Osama is a CIA operative. He doesn't go back to that lineage, but he's a CIA operative. You know, he's controlled, bought and paid for by Esau Edom anyway. But yes, this is going into who is Esau Edom. People that rule the earth, you so-called white people. This is you, man. You go back to Esau Edom. Anyway, let's go to page 39 here. It says World War I and the Balfour Declaration. The area of Palestine had been under the control and rule of Turkey, or its Ottoman Empire, which had existed since 1299 AD. In 1882, Edmund Rothschild, keep in mind, Edmund Rothschild, a Jew, began financing a Jewish society. You see that? So this is a Rothschild, Edmund Rothschild. You want to look him up? He's a banker. He goes back to that banking dynasty. Let's look him up. Might as well. Yeah, this is how he looks. Okay, Baron Abraham Edmund Benjamin James de Rothschild was a French member of the Rothschild banking family. So this is how he looked. Let's blow it up some more. That's how he looked, right? So he's from the banking family, the Rothschild banking family. There you go. So it says, began financing a Jewish society which attempted the immigration of a considerable number of Jewish settlers into Palestine, prompting the Turkish authorities immediately to publish orders to forbid further entry. On May 17, 1901, Herzl met with the Turkish Sultan regarding Zionist plans and terms for a Jewish national home in Palestine, and an agreement was made. Herzl immediately went to London, where he spoke with much confidence of the success of his mission with the Sultan, and asked the Jewish people for 1,500,000 euros for the purpose of obtaining the charter. But the Jewish people kept silent, although the Jewish population in general had no interest in settling in Palestine. The Zionists persisted. This disinterest stems from the bulk of Jewry being ignorant of their own religion and what the Talmud and the protocols have to say regarding world control. The essence of Zionism, political Zionism, is part of the Jewish religion as revealed by Rabbi Stephen S. Wise in stating Zionism is Judaism and Judaism is unthinkable without Zionism. To establish their political goals, the Zionists need a political change in the Palestinian territory, and there is nothing that can cause political change more assuredly than war. You see that? You see that? So they created all these wars just so they can get their home back, man. World War I, World War II. Well, really World War II, because it was after World War II. That's when they got in, 1948. And that's why we call them 1948ers. But hey, I spoke of it earlier, man. You know, a lot of these small hats, man, they thrive off war. They make a profit off of war, and that's to forward their agenda. Right. So this is coming out of a book. This book is telling you that. I'm not making this up. So it says here, page 40, not verse 40, page 40. I'm so used to reading the Bible. I'm saying verses now. That's how I read books. I read books like how I'm reading the Bible. Yeah, that shows you that's where I spend my time, man. That's all I do is read the scriptures, man. So it says, thus instigated the Balkan War, 1912 to 1913, which brought a revolt against Turkey, weakening it and causing it to lose some of its territory. The Balkan crisis was like a powder keg in the European arena, and its repercussions helped to precipitate World War I. On July 28, 1914, it was necessary to bring Turkey in on the side of Germany and the Central Powers because the Zionists knew that an Allied victory was expected to result in major territorial changes in the Ottoman Empire, of which Palestine was a part. On Turkey, so, this was all set up. You know how much people died in World War I. You know how severe this was, like detrimental this was. They caused all this chaos, man. But hey, man, that goes back to the blessing of Esau. By thy sword thou shalt live, right? And that's how they live. That's how they thrive. This is their bread and butter, war, right? So it says here, on Turkey's entry into the war, Arch-Zionist and Jew Chaim Weizmann commenced a political campaign on behalf of Zionism. During this period, 1915, Weizmann met with the Britain's First Lord of the Admiralty, Arthur Balfour, explained to him the historical roots of Zionism. Balfour was willing to help promote the idea of restoring the Jewish homeland in Palestine if it was liberated from the Turks. The following year, several developments that greatly advanced the cause of Zionism took place. There was a strange cabinet crisis in December 1916, after which Lloyd George became Prime Minister and Arthur Balfour Foreign Minister. Both these men and some of their immediate subordinates were outspoken supporters of Zionist aspirations. With pro-Zionist individuals now controlling British affairs, it was essential that Britain prevailed in the war so Turkey could be conquered and its Ottoman Empire overthrown. The international Zionists agreed to bring the United States into the war to help bail out Britain. You see that? And also they had to help with the United States as well. They control, right? And we know that the United States is pretty much controlled by you small heads too. Pretty much. And look at Trump. He's pro-Zion. All his, MAGA is all pro-Zion, Jewry. And that's why he received the Silver Crown years ago. They call him his, their false messiah, savior, and a Silver Crown. And so he's even bought and paid for. He's even controlled. Mr. Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a serious man, right? A master magician, serious guy. But even he's bought and paid for. So it says, through the insistence of his intimate advisor, Zionist agent Colonel Edward M. House, Woodrow Wilson brought the U.S. into the war in April 1917. The British forces took possession of Palestine from the Turks in 1917. Though the war persisted, the Zionists were pressuring the British to formally issue a declaration that stated Great Britain favored the establishment of Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. On July 18, 1917, Lord Lionel Walter Rothschild submitted a draft declaration to the Balfour expressing to him what the Zionists wanted. Later, Balfour addressed the British War Cabinet on the matter, and at the meeting, the declaration was adopted. 2 days later, on November 2nd, 1917, Lord Balfour wrote a letter to Lionel Rothschild enclosing a copy of the declaration and requesting him to communicate it to the Zionist Federation. This became known as the Balfour Declaration. So there you go. I believe this is it. This is the letter. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object. It being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. So there you have it, man. There you have it. There you have it. 'Cause you know, there's more. I'm gonna just finish it up. I might as well just page 42. It says, to assure that Palestine would be in Zionist control, British forces were ordered to enter and occupy Jerusalem in December 1917. The highest of the ancient high places was now secure for Jews to immigrate into and occupy with the Balfour Declaration, which assured a Jewish national home in Palestine under Britain as the protecting powers. Many Jews now for the first time gave their support to the World Zionist Organization. At the conclusion of the war, the British received Palestine as a mandate under the League of Nations, with the understanding that the Jewish people would be encouraged to settle there, but the discontent of the Arabs, who desired self-government and resented the immigration of Jews, led to a constant turmoil. Yeah, that's why there's no peace in the Middle East. Why do you think that happens, man? Why do you think that's going on? Why do you think all these Arab nations are always fighting? Plus, that goes back to the prophecy of Ishmael being a madman or a wild man, right? I think that's found in Genesis, the 16th chapter. It talks about him being a very wild man, and how his enemies are going to have a hand on him, and how he's going to be hostile towards his enemies, right? Anybody that comes up against him. But still, there's no peace in the Middle East. Anyways, it says, who desired self-government and resented the immigration of the Jews led to constant turmoil. The Zionist plan was being threatened with the sympathy and support the Arabs had in Europe. Further, a spirit of nationalism was spreading through the Arabian world. Another dramatic scene was about to be acted out on center stage. Another political change was needed. The Edomite Zionist Jews were scheming world plans. There you go, man. And that's Esau, Edom, man. So you small hatters over there in Israel, you're really Edomites, man. Your forefather is Esau. Wasted away his heat. Came out red all over like a hairy garment. And a part of Esau's blessings was him getting the dew of heaven, living off the fatness of the earth, and him living with the sword. And that's exactly how you Edomites over there in the land of Israel, you small hatters, live, man. That's how you live, man. Israel is a welfare state. You collect billions of dollars every year, and you live good. You live good. Wherever you go, you gain control and power, man. That's how you live. But this, just going back to the original short clip that I had, this doesn't pertain to the prophecy of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. You should be putting away your weapons and guns. There should be no wars on the planet Earth. There should be no war or conflict or weapons being used in your land. Right? You shouldn't be walking around with guns. So anyways, man, I hope this was edifying. Till next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaChodash. And also just want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone of GMS. To you I say Shalom. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is a son of Zion signing out. Until next time, Shalom. Kwame Shalom.